Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story, entitled Mother Gets Mad at Me for Playing Mortal Kombat After Letting Her Son Play. This happened a few days ago. Let's set the scene. I'm 14 and I was at the hospital visiting my mom, who is a nurse, in the waiting room. And my brother and I decided to surprise her for her birthday by showing up with flowers and a card. Our dad dropped us off but couldn't come in because he was on a conference call. He's an IT worker. The receptionist told us to wait for a bit as they were in the middle of a surgery. During this time, I pulled out my Nintendo Switch because I was bored, and I decided to load up some Mortal Kombat 11. My brother, who didn't really want to play, decided to because he was also bored and because I also kinda begged him to play, and I handed him a Joy-Con and we selected our characters. Mine being Sindel, my main, and him being Sub-Zero, his main. We battled it out on the Deadpool stage, which ended up being a 2-1 and I won. My brother handed me the Joy-Con and as I took it, I heard the tap on my shoulder. Here enters the entitled mother and her kid. She was a classic Karen, blonde hair, 90s clothes, a nasally voice and eyes that said, "Can I speak to your manager?" She says, "Hello. I was wondering if my son could play that nice game you were playing." The entitled kid looked to be around 10 or 11 years old. I smiled and said okay, but warned him it was a bit graphic. She said, "I'm sure it will be fine." I said okay then. We started off with selecting characters and he warned me that he was going, according to him, kick my butt so hard. I smirked and instantly locked Sindel, splitting hairs, while he picked Noob Saibot, seeing double. He asked to review the moves and I let him because I wanted him to have a fair chance. He did, and we began to fight. I started the round off with a forward 2-1 combo into an amplified scream. He began furiously mashing the buttons. He hit me with a 2-1-2, which did some decent damage. But it ended in a 2-1, with me performing the Here Today Gone Tomorrow fatality, in which, gore warning, Sindel does a quick backwards cartwheel and then uses her hair to grab the arms of her opponent. Then she screams at them so loud their skin starts to tear off from the face to the waist, and their bottom half falls off, showing their intestines and all of that. She then does a start screaming to blast the remaining bits apart, so they fly all over the screen. And all of a sudden I hear the entitled mother's voice yell, "What the hell did you show my kid?" And my brother and I both jumped in. I turned to her. "Miss, you allowed him to play this. And I even warned you that it was gory. And you did not seem to care." "I don't care. You should have let him win so he can traumatize you with this nonsense." She tries to grab the switch from me, and I pull away, leaning into my brother as she swipes at me again, her nails scratching at my hands. "Give me that." My brother turns to her and pushes her away. He's the more confrontational one. "Hey, leave him alone. It's a game that he warned you about, and again you didn't listen." At this time my mom walks in and sees a commotion going on. She asks, "What's going on?" The entitled mother, switching into victim mode, says, "You have to help me. Those horrible teenagers tried to show my son a murder game, and they tried to sexually assault me and my son." Mom, immediately seeing us, terrified, says, "Boys, did you do that?" We both shook our heads. The entitled mother then says, "They are horrible children. They should be arrested." She then turned quickly and gave us a smirk, then switched back into victim mode. My mom then said, "I highly doubt what you're saying is true. For one, we have cameras everywhere, and two, these are my kids." The entitled mother spluttering, "They are your kids?" My mom nods, and the entitled mother starts going on a rant about how bad of a parent she is, and that my dad must have left home for a mistress. He hasn't, but my parents are divorced. And my mom immediately went into rage mode. "Shut the hell up about my kids. You have no right to judge them for the games they play. I got that game for him for his birthday. You also don't have a right to judge me for being a mother. Receptionist, call security and have them escort this woman out." The receptionist nods, and in minutes, 3 pearly guards are there. 2 of them get her out of the room, and the third one stays behind to ask what happened. The entitled mother's kid is following her, asking why they can't stay. We walked outside to see the woman getting handcuffed and put in a cop car, and a police officer asked us if we wanted to press charges. We said yes. She was charged with assault, destruction of property, the Nintendo Switch was a bit scratched, and attempted theft. Dad walked over, putting himself on mute so the others in the call couldn't hear him. He asked us what happened and we gave him our story. He nodded and then apologized before returning to his call by the car. Next story. Ma'am, I'm 15 years old. This happened to me when I was in the 10th grade during spring break, and I'm currently in my 20s, but I still remember it to this day. It started off as any normal day. My mom asked me to go buy some groceries as she was busy cooking food as we were going to have guests later. As a good son I was, I said okay, grabbed a list, and changed clothes and headed to the grocery store. I arrived at the store, got a cart, then started looking for the items in my list. Halfway through the list, I noticed someone trying to get my attention. I turned around to see that it was a large woman who appeared to be in her 40s. One more thing. This woman was a lady who bought the house in front of us when I was still 15. So this isn't the only story I have with her. I approached the woman thinking that maybe she just needed help reaching for something. But boy, was I wrong. When I finally reached her, she started saying how horrible of an employee I was for not assisting her when she first called me, and that I should learn some manners. I then realized that she had mistaken me for an employee of the store. I don't know why she thinks I work here cause I was wearing blue jeans and a Jurassic Park t-shirt, but I calmly start explaining to her that I in fact did not work here and that I'm just a customer. She then blew up yelling obscenities at me and calling me a liar, saying that she knows that I work there and that she has seen me working all the time. I keep telling her that I'm actually a student, but she keeps calling me a liar and saying that I should be fired for not doing my job. During this, there were at least 2 to 4 people who witnessed her tirade. Pretty soon, the manager and an employee approached us as they were told that someone was causing a ruckus. When the lady saw the manager, she started screaming at him, saying that I was a rude employee because I kept insulting her and that I should be fired on the spot for being a horrible worker. When the lady saw the manager, she started screaming at him, saying that I was a rude employee because I kept insulting her and that I should be fired on the spot for being a horrible worker. The manager recognizes me as he and my mom were very good friends. He then starts explaining to the woman that I really wasn't an employee and that I'm a student at X school name. But Karen still would not believe us. So I just decided to show her my student ID and tell her one more time that I'm not an employee here and that I was just doing my groceries. She got really mad at this apparently because the next thing I knew, I was being grabbed by my head and being slapped by a woman in her 40s. The manager called for security and they were able to get her off me. They called the cops and she was cuffed and told to stay still. I was asked to call my parents, so I did. When my mom arrived, she was furious at the woman. She was asked by the police if she wanted to press charges for assault and attacking a minor and refusing arrest. I told my mom to say no, but There were several witnesses who saw it all, so my choice did not really matter that much, and charges were pressed, and she was put in a cell for a few weeks. Next story. IT department, then you figure it out. Years ago, I was working for a web hosting company. I was in the front IT team, and we provided a service to clean websites that were hacked. We also would shut down sites violating our terms of service. Super easy stuff when it comes to the IT world. But still needing to know your stuff. The issue. A coworker was lazy. He would take smoke breaks every 15 minutes, be gone for half an hour, then show back up. He stunk and did not get a lot done. I did not actually mind stepping up and taking most of the workload. I was young, ambitious, and a bit naive. Until one day I found out that he was taking credit for the work I did. Now that's not cool. The reason for revenge. I realized that each time management came by, he would focus on his work and find some errand for me to do that would send me to a different floor for 10 minutes or so. He would then make his move and take credit for my work, making me look lazy. Knowing he was lazy, I came up with a plan. The revenge. When he would leave for his smoke break, I unplugged his internet cable just slightly enough that unless you went to reset it, unplug and plug it back, it would look like I was plugged in. The fallout. He never took the time to physically reset the connections. He would just glance at the plug, submit a ticket to internal IT, then while waiting for them go on a smoke break again. I would quickly plug it back in by the time internal IT came around. He began to complain to management, and since internal IT never saw any issues, they began to question his work and they took a closer look. And the logs do not lie. I stopped unplugging it as they got a mole to spy on us. It was very obvious as the mole would walk by us every hour. I got promoted and he went to a lower level. Next story. Entitled Mommy Needs Money from Me Again. I'm a 20 male. And to bring everyone to speed, she had an affair that resulted with her having my half-brother and sister, and parents got divorced. She kicked me to the curb and married her sugar daddy. Now my sister is about to graduate and she wants me to hand over some money from my inheritance cause the sugar daddy won't give my sister an allowance for college to spend on booze. Well, that's what I think she'll spend it on anyways. I had received 93k from my grandpa, spent 27k on a tractor before putting the rest aside, and I spent the past 2 years adding to it until I was at 79k. With some advice from my last post, I took all but 10k from my savings, but I used no-till seeder and offset disc for 18k, and I invested the rest for my future farm purchases. Now on with the show. It was a lovely day on the farm. My dad was out plowing, hauling manure, and I got Def Leppard playing in my tractor. A decent buzz off of Copenhagen winter green and thinking about Hardy's commercials. Just living life. About to take another load out to the field when my mom's Porsche pulled into the farm, blocking my way. She rolls her window down, honks her horn and waves at me to come talk. I hop off the tractor and yell out I'm not a lapdog. If she wants to talk, she needs to get out and come to say what she wants face to face. She makes a show about getting out, and to my surprise, my sister is very much like my mom when it comes to looks. Too much highlight spray on tan to the point an orange looks pale, and more makeup than 10 circus clowns put together. Well. Looks like Amber Heard left a surprise in my driveway. Will you be climbing into the spreader or will I need to grab the skid steer and dump you guys in? Mom says,
You will not talk to me that way. I'm your mother, and you will respect that.
Nah, you're more like a surrogate to me than a mom. She wrinkles her nose at me and exchanges looks of disgust with my sister.
You know what we're here for, so why don't you do us a favor and make it quick?
I want to hear it from my sister's mouth, not yours. What is it that you want from me? Sister says,
I want the money that was supposed to be for me.
I don't know what you're talking about. What money?
You know what exactly I'm talking about. The money that,
Oh, that money. Blame mommy dearest for making the baby with the wrong man, and even lying about it.
Don't talk like that about me. I'm your mother.
Just get lost with that nonsense. You know damn well what you did and now you're just mad that my grandpa wouldn't give your hill spawns what was promised before the truth came out.
Are you going to give me what I'm owed?
You can have my chew. It's lost the flavor. I took the chew out from my mouth and held it out for her. Both she and my mom started gagging like they are about to vomit. I threw it to the ground in front of their feet, making it fall apart everywhere and onto their shoes. I'm just having a good time. I then asked my sister why she wants the money so badly.
Because I don't want to work at some McDonald's or something while I'm in college. I can't stand being around people like you.
What's wrong with people like me? I like people like me.
You're not sophisticated enough, that's why. You wear rags and I see you've taken to growing a mullet. Disgusting.
Hey now, don't be judging my cougar magnet. Also, I think you should work so you can learn proper people skills, which I see you're lacking.
I'm not.
Mom says,
just give us some money and we will be on our way.
I can't. I do not have it anymore.
Why don't you have it? You didn't go to college or spend on anything from what I can see.
Well, it's kinda embarrassing, I don't want to talk about it.
What did you spend it on?
If you insist. There was this gorgeous gold digger that I had a thing for. She claimed to love me and I fell for it. And now I am broke.
You're a liar. Just give us the money.
I'm telling the truth, I swear. I don't have it.
Lies, give it to me. Yes, give it to your sister or else.
How about I ruin your lives?
Why do you keep disrespecting us?
Why don't you two no good for nothing, dumb witches get the hell off of my property? As they were leaving, I quickly grabbed a handful of cow leftovers and threw it at the car as they peeled out. When my dad came home from the field later, I told him what happened and he was angry at them but thought it was kinda funny at the same time. We agreed to install security cameras just in case they get crazy and do anything. How entitled can these people be? And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.